your property, how many will be growing in the soil before I show hands, or how many will be growing in a box? So how many of you will be growing in the soil by raise of hands? Jim? Okay, and hands down. And then how many will be growing in a box? Well, that's pretty much like a split, doesn't it? 50-50. Aren't you glad we're showing both? Yeah, it's twice the amount of work for me. All right, let's get to work.
Has anybody got worse soil than this?
Yeah. We all got the same stuff.
100% clay. I told you that I had to use a pickaxe to put every plant in the ground in my Alabama garden. So this is a whole lot better than that. You know what? Every one of those rocks have got all kinds of nutrition in it.
Just grind them up.
All you gotta do is make them powder.
So you put sand on top of clay and it starts to break it down?
What kind of sand do you recommend getting and where?
Concrete sand.
Okay, so Jim's gonna be talking. It's hard to hear, so we're gonna try to keep all the other talking down to a minimum, please. And I'm gonna try to get this microphone to him as much as I can.
Oh, that helps.
You guys get that? And if there are any other rakes or shovels close to here, we could use some more. All right. So if you live, walking distance from here, and you can go grab a rake or shovel real quick, that would be helpful. Because Jim needs to be teaching while I'm doing what he's doing.
Okay, so folks, what we're doing here, as I said in the classroom, we're taking about 2 inches, and do it hard, David.
Yeah.
2 inches of the soil from the aisle, and moving it into the bed. He's just one of those little Texas wuss guys. Gotta have Utah muscles, right?
So who has the gym membership? Not a single hand. Look at this.
Okay, now we need a shovel and a bucket to get rid of these rocks. So if anybody sees a bucket and a shovel, grab it and let's get rid of these rocks. What we're doing is we're moving the soil from the aisle into the bed because we want the bed to be a couple of inches higher than the aisle. Great, so if we can just separate those puppies.
I'm going about halfway into the aisle here.
What we should have is a 3.5-foot aisle, 42 inches, and an 18-inch bed. 3.5-foot aisle, 18-inch bed. And we're going halfway in that to take our soil to build up the bed. The question is, why does it need to be a 3.5-foot aisle? I wish I could show you pictures of my gardens. When you've got tomatoes that are 7 feet tall, they are going to be shading anything that's closer. And if you've got potatoes or other large plants, they are going to be filling that entire aisle. They will. I've got pictures from my garden in Alabama and in Missouri, and even my zoo garden up here. The potatoes and several of the other things totally fill the aisle. You see, the point is, you want to have the plants here where you can put water and fertilizer down in a very small space and use very little of it, but allow ample space for those plants to grow to their full capacity. And that's what the aisles are. Don't make yourself narrow aisles. You'll be sorry you did it. You'll suffer greatly. Believe me, it's a recipe.
Jim?
Yes?
For the demonstration, how far do you want us to stop here?
Shucks it.
That was a suggestion.
Yeah? Sure, fine.
Now this can go further, and you may have to terrace this because of the deal. Do you want to
Piece of cake.
Do you want to show terracing or?
We can stop here.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
because we got so many people there too.
have one here and one there, and we'll work doing the same thing on the other side.
Does
Or
this
is
have
this-
to be
is this
level
already
like
done over
the
here, Jim?
wood?
Yeah, it's done there.
Okay.
Okay, why don't
Don't
you
let go
me
of those.
use
You'll
the
need
rake
them in a
for
minute.
All right.
This good-looking red-headed gentleman will let me use the rake for a minute.
Sure.
And what I'm going to do, well, David, you rake that other side so that we got both sides raked. Pull the rocks out. Somebody grab the shovel from me here. Thank you. And I'm going to now do the rest of the first step, and that is creating a terrace or a mesa on the top of this thing. And David's trying to get a rake strong enough. You can use the shovels. If the ridges, if the aisles are too tough and too hard, take a shovel and pull a couple of inches of that soil over into the bed. Okay, if you wouldn't mind, ladies, would you hold this? And at every step, we're going to be removing the rocks.
So here's our rock brigade over here. These three fine women. If you see rocks, throw them over at them. Okay, so Jim did not make ridges. He just moved the soil to create the bed. So now he's making the plateau. So we're not to the ridges yet. We just pulled about 2 inches out of the ground, out of the walkway, and you will need every inch of that walkway. Those sweet potatoes that I showed you, they completely covered my walkway 3 times. I had to go through 3 times and cut them because I could not walk through a 4-foot wide walkway. You have not seen plants grow like this before. You have not seen plants grow to the full measure of their creation because they haven't had the nutrients. You'll be amazed at the growth.
Is it better to do a box or just right out of the ground?
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Either's good.
Use the
Probably
standard.
90 to 95% of the gardens worldwide are in the dirt. My garden in the last 35 years. I started in a box, didn't have much space, and I was so excited about the box. And it worked great. You're there. But when I got the garden over at the zoo, and I had a half an acre, no way was I going to mess with a box. I just put it in the dirt. Great, great gardens every year.
So the soil doesn't make that much difference, but when we put it in a box, I just like things nice and neat and organized, and it drives my wife nuts. So she'll go through and do things just on purpose.
True.
So we have a lot of fun with that. But the box, first of all, you have to buy the wood. You don't have to buy any wood for this. Okay? Then you need to buy the sand. You don't have to buy any sand for the soil. Then you need to buy the sawdust. You don't have to buy any sawdust for this. It doesn't make any difference what the soil is because we're going to give the plant all the nutrients that they need, right? So literally, he literally put a garden with a pickaxe. I used a digging bar for this because there's so much rocks in here. But it doesn't make any difference. Now, if you are going to, what does make a difference is if you're getting soil for a box or for a bed, you want it to be clean. You don't want any diseases in it. That's why I like sand and sawdust. You don't have any weed seeds in it. That's why I like sand and sawdust. And you don't have any bugs in it. You know, you can go down to Wasatch. Who was at Wasatch Pallet today?
I live right there.
Okay, somebody got a truck full of sawdust today. It's like $12 for a truck full. Okay, so it's very inexpensive. It's right off the saw. It's very clean, and you don't have to wait for it to decompose or anything like that. You don't need to age it. Just put it right in with the sand and sawdust, and you're ready to go. So it doesn't make you don't need to spend a lot of money or any money on dirt or soil because it doesn't make it, we're not depending on it for plant growth. We just need it to hold the plants.
Folks, notice that I'm raking this direction because I can obviously see that end is high. So I'm wanting to then rake down because this is it, got to end up level, doesn't it? A long way from level right now.
Can you find the volume control on that box and see if we can turn up the volume? I think it's already up. See if it's all the way up? The main and the mic, or see, I don't know how to operate that. Yes, if you
I
see
get you to
rocks,
hold that for me.
please pull them out, throw them in a bucket, because this is going to be Kathleen's garden right here. She's planting this garden. She's going to be planting. That's much better. Thank you. She's going to be planting in this box, and she's going to be planting in this grow bed.
Folks, this is a great tool called a level. All you do is go to the store, get an 8-foot 2x3. Not a 2x4, it's too heavy. Not a 2x2 because it'll warp too easily. Got to have something that starts out straight, and so you will gun sight it and make sure that that thing is straight. Everybody understand what I did? You sort through them until you get a good straight one. Then you go to the hardware section and get a line level. Spirit level, line level, and you'll, if there's anything on the bottom of that, you'll cut it off so it's nice and smooth. And you take some of the best glue you can get and a whole bunch of it. I think he used Gorilla Glue because the carpenter's glue, it broke and came off. So now he's got it loaded with Gorilla Glue, so that's pretty solid on there. It takes a lot of abuse. It'll hit on things and stuff. So now you put that right in the center, and now you've got a good 8-foot level. Now what is that worth? What's that useful for? What do you do with it? Let me just show you. This has got to become level. So we start at the top, and we see that the bubble is on the upper end. So I lift the bottom end until it is level. And how much am I out? About 3 inches there?
How much?
Yeah, about 3 inches.
Maybe 3 inches?
Yeah.
Come down, do it again, and it is another, almost another 3 inches.
Yes.
Okay.
He's overlapping the level a little bit here each time he does that.
So I've got just about 9 inches, 8 or 9 inches out of level. So what do we do about that?
We get a few guys with shovels. There's a shovel right here.
It might be safer if I do it.
Okay, stand back. Okay, so we have 9 inches that we have to level. So he's going to move exactly 4.5 inches from this end, and he's going to put 4.5 inches on that end. And if you notice the box, we did the same thing to get the box level. Notice that the box is above the sidewalk level. And then we came down here, and the top of the box is almost level with the driveway. But this, you can run a level any direction on this box, and it's level all the way around. The reason why that's so important is because we're going to be adding nutrients to the soil, and then we're going to water those nutrients in. And if the soil, the top of the soil isn't level, all the water is going to take all the nutrients to one end, isn't it? And that's exactly what happened to my wife's strawberry bed when she was in Idaho for 7 weeks, and I was taking care of it. She hadn't watered her strawberry bed, so when she came back 7 weeks later, she had dead plants on the top and huge plants on the bottom. So it dramatically decreased her production. She understood why I didn't level it, so she'd have a lesson. So there wasn't a problem, but she now makes sure that all of her beds are level. It's worth, trust me, it is worth the time to do it. This level here costs maybe $7. If you'd buy an 8-foot level, it costs you $100.
Excuse me, David, please.
So we're trying to teach you how to garden very economically with high production and high nutrition. Okay, so he threw some dirt down to the other end. Now they're kind of raking it out, and then they're going to check the level again. We usually need to do this 3 or 4 times, and just to make sure we get really close to the level.
When you've got this much, when you've got 9 inches or a foot, it's going to be some work, but you always want to take the soil from the high end and bring it down. Don't bring it from somewhere else, because you end up bringing twice as much dirt. This way, you're only moving 4.5 inches instead of 9 inches. Does that make sense? Okay, get the level again, David, and see how we're doing.
you go ahead and level it. Just right. Start at the end.
Start here.
Yeah. Yep. We're kind of going from the end of this box.
Oh, into that box. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me just keep going.
Okay, so what he's just going to place that down in the center of the box. He's not going to try to wiggle the dirt around or anything. He's just going to lay it down flat on the soil. And we're going to look. Okay, now he's going to lift up the end so we can see about how much we need to move. And we're looking at probably, what is that, 2 inches?
About half of what we were before.
About half of what it was before. Okay, now he's going to go down and he's going to overlap a little. And he's going to take another look at it. And he's going to raise up the end again, which is another 2 inches. Again, he's going to overlap again. And then, how's that look down there? We're maybe an inch. We're maybe an inch. Okay, so move the level out and stand back. Now, it may start raining. This isn't a rain in Houston. This isn't even starting yet.
Canceled in Houston for this?
Yes, good. So, and it may get a little cold, so last as long as you can. What you learn here is so important. We want you to have the experience here. Okay, so let's take a look at what the box we did here. Chris Noble, are you here?
Hiding out on the power.
I helped Chris build this box. He was awesome. He's the home teacher for Kathleen, and he was here shoulder to shoulder with me the whole time. Great man. Had some good time with him. And Kathleen was out here too. She was moving rocks. She was working. So what we had to do, first of all, we decided where to build the box. Now, Jim told you why we didn't use the backyard, right? Okay, so the front yard. This will get sun immediately. And where's south here? That way. And so we always grow our tall plants on the north and the east. So you see where we have the vertical growing is on the north side of that box. So that's why we have the vertical growing here. Okay?
Oh, we already had it flat.
So short plants, broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower, beets, all those lettuces will go in this box, this soil bed.
Sorry, David.
And then her tomatoes, cucumbers, cantaloupe, bell peppers, beans, all those, the vertical growing ones will go here. So then we...
I would have a protective wall for that, my backyard, but there's a wall. Would it be okay though, to have one of these?
Yeah, so the question is, can you have it right next to a wall? I've done that, and I recommend that you have space because you're going to want to be getting on both sides of this box. So I would not have it right up against the wall. I got it as close to 2 feet from a fence, and it was a real hassle to work. So I still encourage you to put as much space as you can get to 3.5 feet.
But they still grow.
Yeah, and the further you're away from the wall, you don't have to worry about heat reflection. You don't have to worry about the sun blocking the light the further you're away from that wall. So we decided to make this box here. Now you can grow these. You can build the T-frames in either a soil bed or a grow box. Doesn't make any difference. This happens to be the side that we're putting the tall plants on. We could have just put a soil bed right here, but we decided to put the box right here. So we decided to build the box here. Then what I did is we tilled it to loosen up the soil, and as you can see, we moved 8 inches of soil from there down to there, so it's level. So that's probably about 4 or 5 inches above the ground there. We leveled the soil here just like we're doing here. Then we built the box. And the instructions to building a box are really simple. They're right in the Mittleider Gardening Course book. I have several videos on it on ldsprepper.com. But we just built the box and then came around and finished out the box. You notice that here I'm using 3/4 inch thin wall PVC because it gets cold here in Utah, I'm told. And you can actually make a mini greenhouse right here. You take 1/2 inch Schedule 40 PV, and you build it, make it into like a little A frame, and it slides right into these posts right here, and you put agricultural greenhouse plastic over that, and you will be able to start your growing season a month, maybe 6 weeks earlier, and extend it a month to 6 weeks longer. So you can actually get up to 3 months more growing period by making a little greenhouse. You can also turn this whole thing into a greenhouse, and you'll see videos on that on my YouTube channel too. And it's in the Mittleider gardening course book, talking about how to grow, I forget what the chapter's called, but winter plants. So we use these as twofold, as the stakes to hold the box in place, and as to make a mini greenhouse. Once we had the box built, then we dug down 15 inches into the soil. These are 8-foot tall 4x4s. My brother-in-law called today from Houston, said, we're building a box, and I said, well, we want to go vertically. I said, so go ahead and get the 4x4s. And he says, oh no, I'm using 2x4s. And I said, but we recommend 4x4s, and I guarantee you when I go back there in a year, they're going to be bent over and twisted,
Guaranteed.
That's a recipe, folks. If you change it, you will not get the same results. You'll end up spending more money and more time and more work reworking it. So we put the 4x4s 15 inches down into the soil. Now this box is level, right? And a 2x8 is 7 inches tall. So I just actually measured 22 inches from the bottom of that post and put a mark across it. And so when that line hit the top of that box, it was 15 inches into the dirt. It made it really easy. So we assembled these posts here. You notice that this box is 18 inches wide, but the post is wider. It's actually 32 inches across the top, because we're going to be growing plants out in the V section, so there's lots of light and lots of air and lots of production and lots of ripening fruit because it gets the sunlight on it. So we built the T-frames, put them down, we put the end one down, and then when we put the center one in, we just looked over the top and we could kind of sight it through the top and make sure the center one was level. Then we put these on and the box was built. And that took probably half a day to build the box. Probably took half of a day to get all the materials from Home Depot. But if you go to my YouTube videos, and I have a video on building T-frames, below that, if you see, it'll say read more or see more or more information or something. I have links to every, and when I say 3-inch screw, there's a link. It takes you right to Home Depot, gives you the SKU number, the row number, the cost, everything. You can just use it for a shopping list. And so I try to save you all the work and trying to find out where things are. People call me all the time. I'm in the hardware aisle. I can't find the 6-inch long spikes. I'll say, okay, walk halfway down the aisle. They're down on the ground level. They're to the left of the 8-inch spikes, because they're the same in all the Home Depots. So if you get stuck, just give me a call. That's why you have my contact information. I get really worried when we do a seminar and nobody calls. Okay? LDS Prepper. But you just use ldsprepper.com. It'll take you right to the channel. And if you subscribe, then when I do an update, I do updates every 2 weeks on my garden. And I'm actually filmed this garden, and you'll see it on YouTube. You'll actually see us as we're building it on YouTube. So when I get home in May, I'll upload that.
What does this mean, Araxia? I don't know what that means.
Marilyn Hale, are you here? Raise your hand. Okay, you have a wallet that's over there. Is there another Marilyn Hale here now?
Okay. You saw me change 9 inches out of level to virtually perfectly level. That's what you do. Now, if it was 1.5 feet, you might have to divide it into 3 pieces and have each little 10-foot section level. But you got to have the growing area level, otherwise you're going to waste a tremendous amount of water, and the fertilizer is going to go out and your plants are going to go out. So here we got it level. Now we want to then add the nutrition to the soil. So, David, have we got some nutrition around here somewhere? A little lunch, maybe. Be sure everybody gets what they need from the ladies over there at the table before you get rained out. Okay, we want two different things. We want pre-plant mix and we want weekly feed mix. I don't know where we're going to put these rocks, but we sure need to get them out of the garden, don't we? This is going to be a continuous thing for her for probably several years. Every time she goes and does her soil, she's going to harvest some more rocks. It's okay, just rake them out and remove them from the garden. We can grow with tons of rocks right there in the growing area. We want as few as we can get, but we'll deal with what we have. I think he's bringing a wheelbarrow with, what did we say? The pre-plant includes gypsum, Epsom salt, and 20-multene borax or boron. Simple, but so important. Jacob, several times in his books, said that is the foundation of a good feeding program. So don't miss the pre-plant. So what have we got here? We got a scale. Hopefully we got a kitchen scale or a big scale.
It's right behind your feet.
Yeah, bring the scale if you would, please.
Now, you have the kitchen scale.
Yeah, it's in the car. You need that? Royal, Brother Royal, would you go in the car and find the kitchen scale, please, and bring it out?
And I need one of those buckets that we used. Dump the rocks out. A garbage can or something.
Yeah, get rid of the rocks. Put them somewhere. Okay, we have gypsum here, and we have 50 pounds. Now, I told you that the ratio was 80:4:1. Oh, great. Thanks, Will. So what he's going to do now, you're going to just do 20 pounds, David?
I'd like to, yeah.
Okay. So he's going to do 20 pounds. That makes it simple. So then he's going to do 20 and 1 1/4. That is going to give him the same ratio of those three things. The fertilizer document that you've got tells you all of that. It's going to give you all of those adjustments and changes that you need. So he's going to take 20 pounds of the gypsum, and he's going to add a pound of Epsom salt and a 1/4 pound or 4 ounces of the 20-multene borax. He's going to mix those thoroughly, and then he's going to apply them. Now we apply them both in the dirt and in the box. Here we have a box that is all ready to fill with sawdust and sand. But it's got nothing in it yet, does it? What Jacob said was, in a box like this, you will put the pre-plant on the dirt before you fill the box. So we're going to, is this 30 feet, David?
22.
22 feet. So we want 22 ounces of pre-plant on the dirt there, 22 ounces here, and so forth. The question, I'm sorry, somebody had to...
Those micronutrient packets that we bought, do those go in this?
They don't go with the pre-plant, they go with the weekly feed. We'll do the weekly feed in a minute. Yeah. So, now, do we want to apply the nutrition to this at this point, right now? Question. Do you want to do it now?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. One place in the book, it says, apply the nutrition now. The problem with that, as Jacob discovered over time, was that when you do that, and then you pull soil to the ridges, half the nutrition goes in the ridges, where the plants don't get access to it very well. So we determined that it was better to wait until you've already built the ridges, and you only put the nutrition at the root zone of the plants. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually make this ready with ridges so that we can actually apply the nutrition. If somebody can hold this, please. got a pullover blue and white thing in my car. Can somebody go in the back seat of that car on the other side and get that pullover for me? Okay, now he's offering to help me, and that's good, but let me just show what you do. The normal reaction is to try and make it look like what I just did. But then you end up with a big old concave thing, and that, thank you so much, and that's not what you want. So let me just get this on so I don't end up catching a cold. I got to do 12 more of these in the next 3 weeks. Oh, that's better. Texas and Arizona wasn't quite that cold. Notice that I'm pulling straight across rather than digging. I go start there and I pull straight across and get the rocks out as I go. And the tip of the ridge should be right under the string. You want to hazard that?
So I've got the 20 pounds, 1 pound, and then there's half a pound.
4
Can
ounces.
you see that's really wet for 20 pounds? 20
Solid gypsum.
This is because it's 22 inches.
Like when it's the ratio.
Doesn't matter what the length of the bed is, the ratio of the fertilizer is the same.
80
And you mix a batch,
gypsum,
it'll last
40
you years.
Epsom salt, and 1.
The amount you apply is 22 ounces because it's 22 feet long. It's a ratio. Why do you do those? What's the point? I'll tell you the point. Lime or gypsum, calcium, magnesium, and boron are synergistic, work together, and it's good to have them applied together at the same time. Okay, he's doing a pretty good job there. Has a tendency to.
Doesn't that make the beds unlevel after you just level them?
We got to check that.
Oh, okay.
Question is, what about the bed? Is it still going to be level after you've done this? Well, if you've done it the same amount all the way, it should still be level. But you've definitely got to check it. Yeah. Yeah, probably.
How would you keep gophers out of this?
Well, if you're going to keep gophers out, you're going to have to dig down and put hardwood cloth underneath. That's the only way.
They say human hair gets rid of these bowls they've got around here.
Really.
Okay, now
Yeah, you go
Cut
to
your
the
hair and put it in the garden, huh?
Well, go to the hair cutter place and it's free.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, let's check our level now.
That's a full wives' tale
right.
on the hair.
What is that, an inch there?
Yeah, about.
There's a two-way hoe. What's it called?
Big box.
Wolf. And this is replaceable. You take that off and you do other kinds of things also. So that's a slick little device. I can't answer for this one because I've never used this one. It does not have the flexibility that I like to go backward and forward that mine has, but that looks like it's a good strong blade. Lightweight too. What does that cost?
About $30 for pole out of the tech.
$30. So that's a little more than what ours would cost, but that's very light, and that does a great job. Okay, we're almost level here. We're a little bit low on this end. And you're a little high on that end here, so we have got 1 inch to 1.5 inches in that 22 feet. We want it to be less than 1 inch. So, now what are we going to do? We're going to keep trying to level it. We're close enough. Because now what we want to do is apply the nutrients to the soil. Dig those in, then re-level it, then we'll be ready to plant. Is this ready, David? Just a second. Let's talk about tools. We've got my rake is over 40 years old. About as old as I am. Still good and strong. You notice me pounding that dirt with it. That's going to last me another 20 or 30 years. I might have to fix the screw nail that's in there that's coming out. Maybe redo this a little bit, but that handle is going to be good for a long, long time. And you know why? Because I oil that handle. Just take a little bit of motor oil and go down it like this, at least once a year. And rub it in good. That keeps it from getting cracked and slivery and so forth. So that's the way you keep a good hoe handle. All right, handle. Okay, so what he's done here now, whenever you're going to do some fertilizing, you want to, the very first time, you want to get a can that you hope will handle the whole amount that you want. If we had maybe an 18-ounce can here instead of a 14-ounce can, we probably could get our 20 ounces of pre-plant in that. But we can't on this particular can, so we're doing half, 11 ounces. And what we did, he weighed 11 ounces and he marked with a permanent marker right there. So almost exactly half is 11 ounces, but it's apparently a little more. Otherwise, you could have got the whole thing in it. So now, ever afterward, she will just come and put 11 and 11. You see? So it becomes easy after that first time because you've marked it, you know what you're doing. There's no guesswork. So now I'm going to put this in half the bed and then he'll give me another 11 ounces. I don't know where 22 feet is right here, huh?
Yeah.
Is that called a pre-plant?
Yes. 1 ounce per linear foot.
What if you overdose it?
No need to.
Would it hurt if you add too much? Remember what we said about the, and where's that mic? It's right here. Thank you. Remember what we said about the application of manure, how they will apply 200, 250 pounds in a bed like this, and that amounts to 10 to 15 pounds of salt. How much salt are we putting in this bed with the pre-plant and the weekly feed in one application? about 7 ounces. So 1/25th of the amount that they put in if they were doing manure. So if you doubled it, probably not a problem. Don't recommend it. You're wasting fertilizer and you're giving the plants more than they need. So we never put more than we need. But if there was a mistake made, you're not going to kill your plants. You're not going to hurt the soil. You're not going to hurt the groundwater. That's really important. Because a lot of people are concerned about the contamination of our groundwater now, with good reason. So now we've got 1 ounce per foot of the pre-plant in that bed. Now I'm going to do the same thing in the other bed. David, give me a couple more 11-ounce applications. Sorry, now he's got the lid on. By the way, David recommends that you go to Home Depot and get a bucket that has got a screw-on lid. You talk about it, David. You're better than me.
I recommend you go to Home Depot and get a screw-on lid. The reason is because I'm in my weekly feed once a week, and that's no fun pulling that sealed lid off. And so I use the pre-plant once a season, but I use my weekly feed every week, and that is so easy getting in and out of that bucket. $7 at Home Depot.
I don't know. I just saying, if you like those Gamelin, Augustin Farms in Salt Lake City is having their 40% off everything in the store sale, and they were $3.50 this morning there. So
What's it called? Augustin
Farms.
August. Where are they?
It's near the airport.
Okay, out near the airport. $3.50 each. Get a group buy. 20 or 30 of you, and go get a bunch of them. You save a bunch of money. $3.50. That's a real deal. All right. So now David is going to apply 11 ounces twice to the soil underneath that one. He will not put the weekly feed down. Only the pre-plant goes on the dirt underneath the box. And he's putting more on than he needs, but he's being careful so that he gets the whole 11 feet. He takes a lot of abuse from me, I'm sorry. But I keep him humble, as if he needs it.
So he just made so much and he'll just store the rest, right?
Well, yeah, you make a bunch. You really should make enough for a couple of years, ideally, so that you know that you've got plenty. Now, what he's done now is he's put the pre-plant there. Now, that bed is ready to fill with sawdust and sand. This bed, we still have to put weekly feed down. So David's going to show us now how to make weekly feed. He's got a 50-pound bag of 16, 16, 16, and he should have a container of the micronutrients.
It was right there. Does it have to be 16 or can it be 14?
16 is better than 14. 14 is better than 13. If you want the ideal, go with 16. If you can't find that, and maybe you can get 12, 12, 12, and 18, 18, 18, mix them. And you end up with 16. So what he's wanting to do now is he needs 8 pounds. How much are you going to make, David?
1 10-ounce bag.
Okay, he's going to do 25 pounds of the 16, 16, 16. And 4 pounds of the Epsom salt, and that's probably what this is. 4 pounds exactly. And 1 of the 10-ounce packets of the micronutrients. And that'll give you the weekly feed.
What's the ratio on the weekly feed?
Ratio?
Like the 84-1?
It's 10 ounces of micronutrients, 4 pounds Epsom salt, 25 pounds NPK. That's it. And it's on the bag. The instructions are right there, so you can't mess up.
Has somebody done a conversion to cups and quarts rather than pounds where you don't have to have a scale?
You know, the question is, has somebody done a conversion to cups and quarts and so forth rather than pounds? The difficulty of doing that accurately is that different materials weigh different amounts. And so, as a matter of fact, in some of Jacob's early books, he said, a pint is a pound the world around. The problem with that is that a pint of water is a pound anywhere you go, but that gypsum there has a specific gravity quite a bit higher than this stuff, because this is pearled and it has some nitrogen in it, which is very lightweight, one of the lightest elements. And so you can't take a pint of those two and have them be the same amount, the same weight. Everyone understand that? That's why you want to do this measurement, this weighing thing one time. And so what he's doing is he is actually weighed out 25 pounds of the NPK, and he's taking a full bag of Epsom salt so that he gets the full 4 pounds. And then he will take...
To buy that scale?
I beg your pardon?
Where's a good place to buy a scale like that?
I think probably... I was going to say Walmart, yeah.
The dog food section?
Lots of places have those.
Do you have micros?
I don't. Somebody grab a package of micros up there, would you please? If it's an accurate scale, you can use it, yeah.
That's a good idea.
Can I ask a question about the micronutrient?
Question about the micronutrient pack.
Only get it, could we make that at all?
Yes. Oh, by the way, folks, the formulas are in the book. And so you can make it yourself. All you have to do is go find zinc, boron, manganese, copper, iron, molybdenum, chloride.
So it'd be harder to find.
And if anyone can find those, I would really like to know where you find them. Because I've tried to source them around the world. Right here in Salt Lake City, I can get them. But I have to buy 50-pound bags. And so if the entire group of you want to get together and assign one person to make your own micros, you'll save some money. Probably. Maybe.
Okay, here's reality check. I helped him mix micronutrients. We had face masks on. We had protective gloves on. It was 3 days worth of work and a lot of work. So I buy all mine pre-mixed.
There you go.
Get it as IFA?
No.
The 16, 16, 16.
Yeah, you can get the 16, 16, 16. The micronutrients, probably your best shot is right here. Once we go home, you can get them with shipping. And Mountain Valley Seed has a few bags. They won't last long. But I really recommend, folks, that you get at least a year's supply, if not a couple of years' supply of your micronutrients, because it depends on the size of your garden. A bag will produce 30 pounds, a package will produce 60 pounds of weekly feed, which will then give you 60 feedings of a single 30-foot bed. That's a lot of fertilizer for a tiny garden. Basically, from where the guy is kneeling there to the end is about a 30-foot bed, and so you could feed that 60 pounds with one of these packages of micronutrients mixed into weekly feed like David's doing. If you want to feed your family, you probably should have 6, 8, or 10 of those 30-foot beds if you really want to feed your family. So then you're talking about maybe 10 feedings, and that means that basically 1 year's supply per one package. So if you got 2 or 3 packages, you'd probably be good for a couple of years. But by all means, get the Epsom salt and the 16, 16, 16 as well. Tiny corner of your garage or your basement, no smell, shelf life indefinite. You know you've got your stuff. And then if you got seeds, you know you can grow food for your family. Appreciate this gentleman harvesting the rocks for us and demonstrating that great. Notice that what he did was he actually took off that two-way hoe and put on a really good aluminum rake. And I think, is that aluminum? Yeah, so it's lightweight and it's pretty strong. And that's a really good tool. And probably you paid another $15 for the rake portion of it. Yeah. You see, a contractor is going to really want something like that. Or somebody that does a lot of gardening. Where did you get that? Do you want to tell us?
This was at Wasatch Shadows.
Okay, Wasatch Shadows.
They're a big nursery in Sandy off of I-15.
Yeah, right. I-15, yeah. Yeah, I got you. Wasatch Shadows is also up off of I-215, not too far, isn't it? Anyway, so, yeah, question. The question is, does it matter if the aisle is the same level as the bed? Now, if the aisle was higher than the bed, the entire way, then we might have a problem with drainage up here, huh? As long as we've got a slight, very slight incline going this way, the water will go this way. And down here, of course, it will seep out and go out, so you won't have a problem. What we will have, though, over the course of the next year is this side, this end, will compact and will go down an inch or so. And so next spring, when her home teacher helps her do her garden again, he's going to have to re-level this by moving a little more dirt from there down to there, because this will, in fact, subside an inch or so in the next year. Once it's all settled, then it'll be okay. All right, so what he's done, he's given me the weekly feed, and we have got 11 ounces. Notice it's at a different measuring point on the can. 11 ounces of the pre-plant was down here, and 11 ounces on weekly feed is up there. That's why we have a hard time saying, converting from pounds to pints and that kind of thing, because they have different weights. So now we want to do the weekly feed, and I'll hand this off to someone while I do that.
Did you do this first weekly feed the same time you do the pre-plant?
Yes. Can I ask you to move back so that I can walk by you, or I'll fall over that?
That's the weekly.
Not bad.
We've done this before.
11 ounces of the entire 20
Yeah,
that
because the weekly feed's ½ ounce per foot.
got it. Okay.
The genius of that man in figuring this all out. You see, so many people say, but you don't want to give carrots as much as you give tomatoes. You don't want to give cabbage as much as you give broccoli. And that's right, you don't. But it's all taken care of automatically by the spacing of the plants. In a foot, you're going to have 24 carrots, but you're only going to have 2 tomatoes. They all get ½ an ounce per foot. Isn't that amazing? So simple, and yet so accurate.
Another question. How do you apply the feed when your plants are obviously like harvesting? And do you get down by the plants and just do it?
Okay, that's one of the reasons why we like to take the leaves off of the ground so that we can get down there. Another one, of course, is so that you minimize any exposure to disease and bugs. So we want to take those leaves off of the ground so that we can get down and fertilize. Now, if you've got, because they're planted close together, sometimes your plants will be solid. You just got to get your hand down there and sprinkle it down there close to the soil, and then if you've got any of it all at all on the plant, you then take the hose and rinse it off the leaves. You don't want to get this salt on the leaves. You know how salt feels on a cut on your hand. That's what it'll do to the plant. It'll burn the plant. So now we have got this thing fertilized, and what we want to do then is take the shovel. If I can have one of those shovels, ma'am, please. Thank you. And we'll get some help with this, a couple of 3 early guys, and I should have a dig fork. I wonder where my digging fork is. David, can you find that for me? And I'll start digging here, and you hold that for me. Do not stand in the bed.
Kathleen, the homeowner, said that she wants 4 more beds, so we're going to be doing this for the next 4 weekends. Everybody want to show up? So does it? Here's the right. So if we can get somebody on the other end with their shovel to help Jim out, Jim will kind of go in the middle and show you how to do this. But what we're doing is we're trying to get the shovel straight into the row bed here. And so we're going straight in like this instead of at an angle, so we don't affect the ridges which we've spent all the time building up. And if you can put your foot on the shovel and push it down as far as you can, it should be pretty soft because I tilled it 8 inches deep, and we moved 5 inches of dirt down there. So let me ask, is it helpful to see this happening, to see us mixing the fertilizers, to see us applying it? This is why it's really 2 seminars in one. And we are not going to show up.
Charge you extra.
Yeah, we're going to charge you twice what you paid. We're not showing up, handing you some handouts and saying good luck. We really, sincerely, the reason why I do this is because I think one day, if the profits are right, we're going to have to live out of our gardens. And I want you guys to have the skill to do it now. So I'm 4 seasons smarter than I was 18 months ago. And my gardens are better every year. And it's less work every year because I'm smarter every year. So you'll learn the skills now when you can enjoy playing in your garden, and when you have to live out of your garden, you'll be able to do it and help others do it too. It's another reason why it's so nice to have the can of garden seeds, or whatever it's called, because with everybody I've talked with and with the research I've done, maybe a little alarming, but I have never seen any ward have more than 4% of its membership have a 1-year supply of food. Not one. In all the states I've checked, in all the states I've lived, there's never been more than a 4% who have a year's supply of food on hand. So when that day comes, for whatever reason, that's 96% of the ward that didn't have food. And
Folks, that's not if, that's when.
okay, so when you have those seeds, you'll be able to help them grow gardens, and you'll be able to work together to grow gardens, and you will not run out of food because every plant you plant is going to grow you more food because you're going to harvest the seeds. Does that make sense? There are 7, I don't know what it's called, principles of self-reliance that the LDS Church promotes. One of them is what?
Gardening.
Gardening. Got there by mistake.
In the book, is there something that tells you how to harvest your seeds from the plants?
The seed box has it in it.
Yes, I was so impressed when I opened up my can of seeds. I've seen lots, I do lots of research, I spend lots of money and don't make lots of videos on junk that I buy. I try to show you what I end up finding really works. And when I opened up my can of seeds here, I was impressed by a couple things. First of all, each of the seeds are in their own package, and they're triple sealed packages. So you can open them up, plant the peas, close them back up, put them back in the freezer, and then those seeds will last 20 years. When you harvest, take the seeds that you're harvesting, put them back in the package, put them in the freezer. But what really impressed me is that inside of that can is a booklet on how to harvest each kind of the seeds that's in that book, in that can. I've never seen that before. Now you can buy a $20 book that's going to teach you how to harvest seeds. No need to. Everything you need to know is in that can. That was very impressive. I really appreciate Jim's effort in making that a quality item there.
So you store your can in the freezer?
Yes. Actually, it says on the can, for every degree or 6 degrees that you keep it colder, the longer it will last. So yeah, all those seeds in there are perfectly fine in the freezer.
Are you going to be building the upside down?
Yes, we are.
Okay, we got less than an inch in 22 feet. So that is less than an inch between top to bottom on that level. So now we're ready to plant. Now let's, do we want to be having somebody start working on putting this in?
Yeah.
Do we have sawdust and sand?
We do. We don't have anything to plant in here. We have things to plant in here.
Okay, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to be planting in the dirt while he starts doing it over here. And as he gets to a point where we can talk about it, we'll start talking about that. But I'm going to show you how to plant seeds first. And we're going to do as if, because she doesn't actually want to plant in the dirt yet today. So I'm going to put this away for the time being. And I don't need that quite yet. Somebody got a hoe that I can use. Oh, here's a hoe. Thank you. I want to do a furrow so that I can plant my seeds. Let's say that we're planting carrot seed today. That a good thing to plant? Oh, there we go. We got carrot seed. Spasiba. Well, that's Russian for thank you. I think it says 1.5 grams. Anybody hazard a guess on how many seeds are in 1.5 grams? That's about 1/20th of an ounce. And there are 16,000 in an ounce. So 1.5, 1/20th of 16 is almost 1,000. Probably 700, 750 carrot seeds right there. It's a lot of carrot seeds. Let's just suppose that you've got a big garden and you want to plant 44 feet of carrot seeds. How many carrot seeds do you want to put in the ground? How far apart? Maybe an inch apart. I think your garden planting details schedule will tell you. If you had that handy, you should have looked it up and known the answer right like that. Yeah, so 44 times 12. What's that? 500 more or less? Let's just say 500 carrot seeds in 2 rows, 22 feet long each. So here we go. Somebody hold this and the microphone, please. First, I'm going to make a furrow. Notice which end of the hoe I'm using. I'll do it this way. I'm left-handed. At least I'm in my right mind. Man, that is a deep furrow, isn't it? There's the furrow. Now I got to get these carrot seeds out of here, and I got to take them and put them 1 inch apart. So you take it out, you bend down, and you go like this, and it's only a 2-hour job. Or you get lazy, like most of us would, and we tear it open, and we go and we start sprinkling. And good luck trying to make those carrot seeds go 44 feet without getting a whole lot of them in a little space.